Not just anybody can sit by and be like, well, I'm not with Cigna, or nope, Cigna's not in my contract. Nope, because something else is going to happen. Trust and believe that you will be impacted. So if you are all cash pay and people cannot continue to pay cash because of the economy that we're in, what are you going to do? It's not easy, right? And it's because when payers decide to pull a business move, it causes a ripple effect. When we think about 369,000 people, that's a lot of people's lives that are going to be impacted. We have clients who continue to make money in this economy. We have clients who are actually seeing the most money that they've ever made in this economy. We have clients who are still continuing to be profitable. Welcome to CEO Conversations, the private practice podcast. I'm your host, Brandy Mabra. It's time to show up as a confident leader to create a practice and life you love. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of CEO Conversations. I am excited to be here today because we're going to be talking all about Cigna. And when you hear that, it's probably like, what? A whole episode on Cigna? Yes, we're going to talk about Cigna. Why are we going to talk about Cigna? Because Cigna has just pulled something, at least at the time of this recording, where they're pulling out of 11 states, and it's going to impact 369,000 people. And there's so much opportunity to talk about this. So this is something that I actually posted on my Instagram, and it has, like, as of I'm looking at it right now, it's been shared 100 times, reposted 23 times, and has like 13,000 views on it at this point in time. So, and there's a lot of conversation just even in the comments about it. So I wanted just to talk about it in a deeper level, because we're talking about Cigna, but also there's a bigger picture that we need to think about from a business perspective. This isn't a conversation about whether you need to be pro-insurance or pro-private pay or cash pay or self-pay. This is about what do we need to do in order to make sure that your business is sustainable, especially if you are a healthcare business that takes insurance, right? Cigna specifically, like when we think about payers in general, we all know it's a business. We know that our healthcare system is broken. We know on the flip side of it, though, that still gives us a lot of opportunity. For the healthcare business owners that are actually the most successful in the healthcare field, they are the ones who do not get stuck in what I call the healthcare woes. So we know that the healthcare system is broken. We know that it's not meant for us. We know even trying to navigate it as patients ourselves. I know for me right now, I'm trying to navigate it as a patient and being able to work on it from the business side, being able to consult and strategize with it. It's not easy, right? And it's because of things like this. It's because when payers decide to pull a business move, then it causes a ripple effect, right? So we talked earlier in the year about one big beautiful bill. We've talked about the changes with Medicaid. We've talked about the changes with Medicare. We've talked about the impacts of that, in which everybody who takes those payers or is seeing anything in the economy right now, we can see in real time what happens when there's business moves that are made and patients' lives are impacted. And so when we think about 369,000 people, that's a lot of people's lives that are going to be impacted, right? So it's all part of ACA, which is the Affordable Care Act. So you're very familiar, I know, with Obamacare. And so there are times like this is not new. You know, their payers pull in and out of the marketplace, but from a business perspective, I thought that we could have a deeper conversation. So one of the comments, which I really appreciated, there were a lot of different comments that were posted. And so some of them were like sad faces. Some of them is, wow, and I have Cigna, but not for long. Some of them was, SMDH, so shake my damn head. Let's sigh. Let's see what else that we got. Had no idea. Thank you. And then there was one specifically is what can help us drive this part of the conversation. So interestingly, we were never in network with marketplace plans according to our contracts. So this won't affect our business, but it absolutely affects the insurance I can get for myself and what my employees can access. That was a really great comment because of the fact, a couple things, recognizing what's in her contracts, right? So everybody has contracts with payers. I know you know this. The question that you have to answer is, are you familiar with your contracts? So are your contracts impacted by marketplace? Are any of the plans that you might be with Marketplace? When we're talking about 369,000 people, then are your patients in marketplace plans? I know for me, I have health insurance through my business that I provide to myself. And in the past, they have come from marketplace plans, right? So I have a broker that I work with. She helps me negotiate those rates and things for myself. But do you know that for your patients? Right. And so the other part that I really like that she brought into this was thinking about the team. So if you're in a business and you don't offer insurance for your team, then do you know how this is going to impact them? Right. But also the deeper conversation is that going to impact their care? Is that going to impact how they're going to show up to the business? Is that going to impact how they take care of themselves? What's happening with that? And then the third part of that is going back to the contract piece of it. What's going to be the impact to your patients? So it's complicated to say least, and even trying to explain it or talk about it. There's so many different nuances when these things happen, but ultimately there's three areas that you have to pay attention to. What's going to happen to me as an individual? Because one person said, like, I have Cigna, but not for long. And then another person said, what's in our payer contracts? So what's going to happen with your patients? And then the third part to think about is what's going to happen with your teams, right? So there's you, the owner, the patients that you're serving and the clients that you're serving, and then also what's going on with your team. And so when we think about business in general, those are always the three lanes. Right. So we're always thinking about what's happening with us as a CEO, what's happening with the people that we're here to serve, and then what's happening with the people that we've hired in order to make sure that they're good. So with this, what do you do? What do you do if you are impacted? And I think that when we think about insurance in general, there's going to be a lot of changes because we are in a season of cost containment on payer side. They are in a place where revenue streams are changing. The Medicaid, with all the changes with Medicaid, there's, ins and outs of premiums being paid one day, and then one day premiums aren't paid. And so a patient could show up to your practice, have insurance one day, and then not have insurance the next. And because, when we think about the payer, that's a revenue stream for them. So Medicaid is taken away, which means that they now have to replace that revenue. And how do they replace that revenue? They keep the revenue that they have, which means that you now have more prior authorizations, which means that you now have more loops to jump through in order to get your insurance claims paid. And you still have to stay in business. Going back to the conversation that we had at the beginning of the year, if you have no insurance, if you aren't able to put your eggs in that basket, what would your practice do, right? What would your business do? If you are all cash pay, and this is why you can't be all cash pay and all insurance, right? You just have to be all profit and all revenue, right? So if you are all cash pay and people cannot continue to pay cash because of the economy that we're in, what are you going to do? What is your backup plan? How are you going to sustain your business? How are you going to keep your lights on? That's really the question that everybody has to answer, is what does my business need at this point in time with what my patients and what my clients are presenting with in order for me to continue to sustain my business? So best practice, right, is the innovative CEO. We've talked about that, making sure that you are thinking outside the box. What is the solution to the problem that your clientele is presenting with? And when you do that, then that allows for you to sustain any kind of economy. There are businesses that are going to be made during this economy. There are businesses that are going to come up in this economy. We have clients who continue to make money in this economy. We have clients who are actually seeing the most money that they've ever made in this economy. We have clients who are still continuing to be profitable. And then we do have clients, I'll be completely honest, I always am transparent, who are trying to figure it out. But they also have a partner too. So they have a partner with me working with them. They have a partner with the community inside of Private Practice CEO at this point in time. And that is powerful. That is powerful. If you have never experienced an economy like this, if you have never been in a business climate where you have got to not do the traditional ways of how medicine is provided or how healthcare is provided or just one traditional line of specialty, then you have to put yourself around people, places, and spaces that are going to help you think differently, right? And so even with that, for myself, I'm putting myself in different spaces and places. Our clients are putting themselves in different spaces and places. And actually, one of our clients said, I don't want to be around my specialty anymore. I want to be in other rooms with other healthcare professionals so I can learn about healthcare industry. And that is what everybody needs to learn. So whether you are a physician, whether you are a therapist, whether you are an allied health professional, whether you are, some of the other healthcare professionals that might be listening to this podcast, you have got to know healthcare industry. You have got to know healthcare business. You have got to understand leadership in a deeper way, because these types of things are going to continue to happen. And if you're sitting there thinking I'm not impacted, again, the 3 lenses to look through are you impacted as an owner? Are your patients and clients impacted, or is your team impacted? And because we're all experiencing the same economy in one way, shape, or form, we're all impacted, right? So it's not just anybody can sit by and be like, well, I'm not with Cigna, or nope, Cigna's not on my contract, or nope, I'm good. Nope, because something else is going to happen. Trust and believe that you will be impacted, right? So pay attention to Cigna. And that's the other thing is I always pay attention to when one payer does something, when a big move like this happens, then other payers take suit, right? They all watch each other. And I know that because I've been in the insurance side of business, right? I've worked in that side. I know exactly what happens in those rooms, and I know exactly what happens when you run into another rep. Oh, hey, what are you doing? Well, we're looking at this. They all talk, right? So at the end of the day, you have to be prepared for that, and you have to be set up for it. Can you absolutely be successful in this? Yes, you can. And this is why even with some of the conversations that I'm having, I'm trying to go deeper, because there's the business side, there's the leadership side, but also there is the time side, the energy side, the money side. And a lot of these things come down to, am I setting myself up as a person, as an owner? Am I setting my team up, to work with me? Am I setting my business up to be profitable? So that way I can weather the storm as I'm going through different seasons of business. And more times than not, people are not doing that. They are not. They are not doing that. They are just riding a wave, or they're just trucking through the day-to-day, or they're just getting through the task, and they are not prepared for anything, right? And so this is when businesses go out of business. This is where leadership falls flat. This is where teams quit. This is where businesses get sold for undervalued rates. And you could have set yourself up better, right? So at the end of the day, do what you need to do. I know that you're capable. I know that it's possible. But you have to change how you're spending your time, if I had to guess. You have to change how you're pouring into yourself. You have to change how you're leading. And you definitely have to change how you're looking at the business and healthcare landscape. So that is my rant for today. So if you are wanting more information, definitely continue to follow me on Instagram. I am making sure that we're going deeper and talking about the things that truly matter when it comes to healthcare business. Also, if you need deeper support, then there is Private Practice CEO that is available to you, where you get to partner with me, and we are continuously always making sure that we're keeping on top of things. Like even right now at this point in time, we've had AI office hours. So there's a whole tech person that is now part of my team in order to keep up on the latest and greatest. I'm always following healthcare trends. We have leadership development. We have business development. And so that program is specifically built for 6-figure and 7-figure practice owners and healthcare business owners and entrepreneurs. So if you are in a place where I probably need some additional business skill sets and some additional leadership skill sets, then apply. See the show notes, apply today. But I will definitely continue to keep you updated on Instagram and then also on the podcast as well. So I'm sending you all the good vibes and all the well wishes. And I hope that you guys have an amazing day. And I will talk to you soon. All right. Bye. Thanks for listening today. I hope you enjoyed the episode and it empowers you as the CEO of your practice. If you enjoyed the podcast, please make sure you subscribe, share the message, and leave a review. If you want more information and support in growing and scaling your practice, click the link in the show notes to take advantage of our free resources or apply to work with me directly. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.